Hello friends. In the previous session, we tried to solve this case or analyze this case by using the payback period method. But we have seen there are certain limitations of payback period. So it is necessary to use few other methods or techniques of project financing. One of the most used tools in project financing decisions is discounted cash flow method or calculation of net present value. Now, not only project financing, this method is also very useful in valuing the organization or as a valuation method as well. So please learn it very carefully and practice it with few more numericals. Now continuing the case, those who have missed the previous session, we will read this case and try to solve it. In a franchisee business, you need to do the investment of 5 lakh rupees as deposit, 10 lakhs for fixed assets and 5 lakhs for working capital, out of which deposit and working capital will be refunded at the end of 5th year, which is the life of the franchisee business. The cash inflows are given to us apart from the refund money and the WACC is 10.5%. So based on this we have to calculate the net present value. Now net present value concept is based on the time value of money concept that we have learned in our few of the previous sessions, wherein we tried to calculate the amount or what we call as present value and future value with the help of this formula. Now this formula every one of us has learned in our primary education. Using the same formula we are going to calculate the net present value. How? Let us see. Now what data is given to us? First of all, we'll just simply use that data or read that data. We have seen that in a case there is an outflow in year 0 of 20 lakhs. How this 20 lakh is derived? This way. Deposit, fixed asset and working capital total comes to be 20. Then there is cash inflow of 10 lakhs in year 1, 12.5 in year 2, 18 in year 3, 12 in year 4 and 16 in year 5. But in addition to that you get back the deposit and working capital. So it makes it to 26. So what we will do, we will keep this as our base data and based on that we will try to take or make future or other actions which are required to calculate NPV. Now here we will not find the figures to be appearing correctly, so we will simply, instead of copy pasting them, we will use referencing here, so that if at all there is any change in these figures, it will be automatically taken place here as well. So what we will do, we will simply refer the values of cash flows to the cash flows that we have already calculated, and now we can simply drag it. Now if you see here, there is outflow in year 0 and there is inflow of money in rest of the years. Now if you remember the time value of money concept, we have seen that the value of money goes down or the value of money diminishes or depreciates as the time passes. So can we compare the inflows that we are going to get over a period of next 5 years with the outflow today? Certainly not. So to make these two values comparable, that is the inflows and the outflows, we need to convert either the outflow into future value that may derive in future, or what will be the value of rupees 20 lakhs today in future, or what will be the value of these future inflows that we are going to generate in future today. Now comparatively it is easier and logical to convert these future values into present value today. Why? Because the outflow is only in the year 0. Now to which future year or future period you will convert it? 1, 2, 3 or 5 or any fraction not known. So better it is to convert the future money that you have received into today and then compare the both, so as both the values will be representing today's value, or what we call as present value. Now how to calculate that? We have already seen this formula. Present value is calculated as future value divided by 1 plus r raised to n. Now here a is given to us. A is nothing but the future value that we are going to use for calculating present value. Future cash flows, this cash inflows, we will consider it as cash inflows. R is, now if you read the case again, you can see they have given us the rate of interest or the WACC rate. Now R actually is the WACC rate. Now what does WACC mean? That when you invested rupees 20 lakhs, you have incurred an expenditure of 10.5% annually on it to mobilize this money. It can be through equity, it can be through debt. And N is what? N is the period. 5 years is the period for this case, but when we convert the present values, we will not use this 5 years, but we will use appropriately. We will see what we will use. Now when we want to convert these cash flows into present value, how to do it? Present value. Now present value of rupee 1 today is always rupee 1. So it is same. This. You can calculate it for cross checking with the help of this formula as well. It will give you same answer. But the present value of rupees 10 lakh that you are going to receive after year is not 10 lakh rupees. It is something different. How much it is? We can calculate now with the help of this formula. Means this is where this formula comes into use or comes into picture. So is equal to A. What is A here? A is 10 lakh divided by, into bracket, 1 plus R. How much is R? R is 10.5. Bracket complete. Now N. N here we will not take 5 years. Why? Because here we are calculating specifically the values, future values, present value of money received at the end of year 1. So N here is not 5 but 1. So that's why power of N means in which year you are getting this, that you have this inflow, you have to consider that as your N when you are calculating the present value of multiple cash flows. If it is only one cash flow that you are receiving at the end of certain particular period of time, then you can use N. But when there are these multiple cash flows, you have to find out the specific time period in which you are going to get that money. So we see here at the end of year 1 we are getting. So now enter. And now you see 9. We'll increase the decimal points. It will give us the better idea. see now, 9.05. So even if at the end of year 1 we feel that we are going to get 10 lakh rupees, in reality we are going to get only 9.05 lakh worth today's value. And in similar way now we will calculate for year 2 and year 3. Now we can drag the formula as well, but for that we need to freeze certain items. For example, we need to freeze the rate which is going to remain same. So we will simply freeze that cell, and the rest we want to be referred in sequence. So we will not freeze other items, and now we can use it. Check here. The 26 lakhs that you are going to get at the end of year 5, the present value of that is only 15.78. So this is how present value matters. And now if you see, if you make a total of it, only the inflows, total inflows, if I calculate, is equal to, or simply we'll take a sum of these 5 items, gives us 79. Means it shows that the total inflows that we are getting is 79 lakhs at the end of 5 years. But if we consider the present value of those, it comes out to be only 56 lakh 0.46. Can you see the difference? The difference is more than of 15 lakhs. In fact, actually more than 15 lakhs. So it comes out to be a huge difference. So this is why present value is more important than that of payback, because payback does not convert these inflows into present value, but discounted cash flow method converts them, and then we are in a position to compare the outflow which we are making in the year 0 and now this inflow which we have converted into year 0 values. And now you can calculate the NPV. How will you calculate NPV? Net present value. Now this is present value of inflows. So if we want to calculate net present value, it is equal to present value of inflows minus present value of outflows. Now we have used the equal to sign before writing the formula, and we want to keep it as it is. So we will use apostrophe in front of it and it will show us this. Let us align it properly to be more visible or properly visible. This way. Net present value is equal to present value of inflows minus present value of outflows. Are the values available with us? Yes, certainly. So net present value is, simply copy it. Net present value is present value of inflows is equal to 56.46 minus present value of outflows. What is the present value of outflow? There is only outflow in year 0. In certain cases you may have outflow in more than 1 year, in more than year 0. In those cases you will have to convert the outflow as well into present value and then take a total of those. But here in this case we have it only in year 0, so we will take it, but it is already having a negative sign. So we will not make it negative, we will adjust our formula and it gives us the answer as 36.46. Now if this value we have received as 36.46, should we accept the formula or should we accept the answer or this project? We can give the conclusion as if the net present value is positive, the project should be accepted. But if the net present value is negative, we can reject the project, or we should reject the project, because there is no point in accepting a project which does not give you value benefits considering time value of money. So now you can easily write here as accepted, or better way, you use the if function here, because there is a condition. You will accept only if this figure is higher than 0. If this figure is means net present value is higher than 0, you will accept project, and if it is negative, you will reject the project. This is what you want as a verdict. Close the bracket, accept project. We can see it. Now why we have used the formula here? Because if there is a change in these values, later on you come to know that there is a change in these values. Say for example, I come to know that in year 4 the inflow is not 12 but 36. Immediately there is a change in net present value, and this also remains same. Now if I come to know that in year 5 the inflows are actually only 2, still I am accepting the project. Or if I come to know that my outflows are, instead of 20, are 40. There is one more item that I have missed. If I come to know that, and the value of that outflow is 20, you still have a net present value as positive. But can you see the change? The change is immediate. You don't have to do any rework at all if you are changing figures, adding or deleting figures from it. Back to the original answer, accept the project as the net present value is positive. So this is how you use the discounted cash flow method or net present value method or technique, you call it, in project financing cases. Now we have seen only a case of franchisee business. It can be a case of certain asset to be bought or replaced, or it can be a case of entire plant. Anyhow, in all these cases you will find this method to be highly used, the most used method. And now actually speaking, if you want to club these two methods, you can do that as well. What you can do simply is, instead of calculating the payback period from the original cash inflows, you can find it out with the help of, or considering the present value figures of cash inflows. That becomes discounted cash flow method. Now in what cases NPV should be used? In fact, in all the projects NPV should only be used. Only, as we have said, payback is useful in inflationary conditions or risky or dynamic technology changes are there. In such cases it is useful, but not in isolation. It should be clubbed with net present value method, and then it should be used. It will give always better conclusion to the decision maker. Now, before going for the next method of project financing, that is internal rate of return, it is necessary to understand the importance of this figure R, or in this case we have taken it as WACC. Whenever you are solving the case of project financing, you have to take R, means nothing but the WACC of the organization. We will see WACC in detail later on. As of now, assume this to be only a loan rate. Assume that you have taken a loan from bank of rupees 20 lakhs and the rate of interest of the bank is 10.5%. Now why this is of much importance? Because this part of your profits directly goes to the bank and remaining only remains in your hand. Second thing, the reduction in the value of money is at this rate. So if this value goes up, means if the R goes up, the present value of the inflows will go down. Let us take an example. Currently we are calculating it at 10.50%. Let us change it to 15%. But before that, check the figures here. Present value of inflows is 56.46 and NPV is 36.46. Now if we change it from 10.50% to directly 15%, means if the interest rates in the economy goes up, RBI increases the interest rates. Check here. The present value of inflows has gone down from 56 to 49 and the net present value has also gone down. That is why the organization would like to keep this as minimum as possible and use the suitable sources of financing a project. And second thing, just now as we have seen, higher the WACC or this rate, lower will be the present value of the project or net present value of the project. The reason for learning this was because we are going to use this concept into our next method, internal rate of return. Now what is internal rate of return? It is the rate of return at which this NPV, not that is present value of inflows, this NPV becomes 0. Means how much the organization should earn minimum to make it 0. That is what is internal rate of return, and that is what is also called as the break-even rate of return for the organization, or this works as a benchmark for the organization that how much minimum the organization should earn so that the NPV does not go to negative. Anything over and above the internal rate of return is a plus or profit for the organization. Now how internal rate of return is calculated? In that case you have to follow the same process again. Means here we have calculated present value at 10.5%. While calculating internal rate of return, you will have to calculate present value at some other, in this case most probably higher R value. And then whatever values you get, preferably we prefer that the net present value should come negative in the next present value, next weighted average cost of capital that you consider, that is R that you consider here. And then after that, the method that is used for calculation of IRR is called as interpolation method. What is interpolation method? It is simply actually a trial and error method wherein you calculate it as the lower discount rate that you have considered plus you will be calculating two NPVs. NPV at this lower discount rate, this is also called as discount rate because at this rate you will be discounting the present values, sorry, the future values to present values. So lower discount rate plus NPV at lower discount rate divided by NPV at lower discount rate minus NPV at higher discount rate. Now you don't have to consider the signs of these values here. And second thing, lower the discount rate, higher will be the NPV. Higher the discount rate, lower will be the NPV. Just now we have seen one demo of it. Now after this, let us complete the formula. NPV at lower discount rate minus NPV at higher discount rate. The whole of the bracket, or you can say whole of the formula, whole of the bracket multiplied by, not the whole of the formula, but whole of the bracket multiplied by difference between the lower and higher discount rate. And in positive signs, say for example, if you are using 10 and 15, the difference will come here as 5, and that will give you the internal rate of return. Looks pretty tedious, right? But this gives you the rate of return which is of much higher use to the organization for taking decisions. But to avoid this long calculation process, we can use Excel. Means this is where actually Excel comes into picture, because it does these calculations even of NPV or IRR in fraction of seconds. So instead of going by this tedious and lengthy and time consuming method, we will learn how to calculate NPV and IRR using Excel.